Thank you. This is not my normal métier, but we'll make it work. Anyway, let's start out. So you want to start a business, some venture that you have a passion for. You do your homework. You find out how much resources you have. Is there a market? You get the numbers right. How's the competition? And that's the hard numbers. Then you go to the soft side, which means that you better check on your friends, your family, your advisors, your mentors. Do they think it's a good idea? Do you have the passion to go ahead and actually have minimum wage for 80 hours a week? And so that's a soft side because you can't quantify it. There are regulatory concerns out there that you don't know about. But there's one other imponderable, and that is timing. You have no control over it. So that's the way it was with Asheville. You know, Asheville was great. In the 20s, we had the roaring 20s. People came from New York. They showed off their stuff and went back to in the fall, back to New York to decide what they were going to do and not do. And we were on a roll, and we were booming. Great Depression hits in 1929, and boy, that was a big telling time. So the city fathers decided we're not going to default on our bonds. We're going to pay our way out. And so Asheville ended up with backbreaking payments for decades that prevented any kind of a development or maintenance. Well, in the 70s, they started out with some new generation people who said, let's try a mall. They tried it downtown. It failed. Another one was done outside the outskirts, which is Asheville Mall. It hastened and made it worse for an already decrepit downtown. Well, in 1976, it was paid off, and the city leaders and business leaders, the city council, decided, let's invest. We've paid off, we have a little bit of money, we can do something. And so they did Pack Square, followed by the Blue Spiral, very fancy, upscale gallery, Cafe on the Square, a restaurant. So the Renaissance begins. Into this situation comes Highland. We started in the basement of Barley's tap room. The ceilings were about the height of this room. And we had a little bit more space in this room, maybe 1.5 times the space of this room. And we began to brew some beer, not without a lot of difficulties, because we're the first legal brewery since Prohibition. So the regulatory people and others didn't really know what to do with a brewery. So it took us longer, cost us more money, but we persevered and we got going. Next thing you know is, okay, how do we get this beer tasted? We'd go out with a little keg in the back of the car. It had to be, hidden, of course. And we go to a pub and a restaurant, ask them, would you like to taste some beer? Said, sure. We go back out to the car, get a couple cups, go back in, and they taste it. So we got started, and we kind of built it up. Now, it turns out that this is totally illegal. However, we haven't done it in a long time, so I think the statute of limitations has passed, and we're good. So we built up, and we started brewing some more beer and selling some more beer, and we went with a distributor, changed the distributors, got a little bit more business. And this was achieved because we operate on 3 basic principles: quality, integrity, and respect. And it works because The staff has great morale when they know it's pretty straight. They, you don't have to write as many rules. I hate written rules. Anyway, but let me talk a little bit about the quality. My parents actually raised 5 kids in a little grocery store that's about 10 by 20. Worked from 6 till 10 at night. And I remember we used to sit around on a Sunday afternoon, and because the bulk rice, for instance, was poured onto a table, and us kids, if you're 6 years and older, we'd pick out that black and brown, God knows what was in it. And then one day, our neighbors or customers too, they weren't well off. They ended up, this lady says, "Mr. Wong, your rice costs more than Mr. Chung's down the road." He said, "Then go ahead, buy it from him." She said, "Nah, I just, it's got all that black and brown stuff in it." She didn't use the word stuff, but you can imagine what it was. But it was a vivid lesson to me that even the poorest people will actually pay as much as they can afford for better quality. So that's inculcated in me ever since. So I gotta get some water. Is this fresh water? Yeah. Hadn't been used before? So anyway, so we get our business going, and next thing you know is we have to start brewing more, making more, and we're connected with our local people, the community, because historically, breweries are actually an integral part of the community. That's where social things happen. That's where people exchange ideas and got together and just, and playful, like the earlier talk we had. So anyway, we have this operation with helping all the nonprofits and the help. So we're an integral part of our community. We feel that way anyway. And we help people like Manna, and one of our main ones is Southern Appalachian Highlands Conservancy, which protects the upper mountains, that where our water begins. We have great water around here. So, and then what I did not expect, because I thought that we were going to have some 1 or 2 breweries around town. That's not the way it worked out. So the next thing you know is, not only do we have 14 competitors, we have 3 of the biggest in the country in our backyard. So we really have to up our game. Now, being an engineer, I don't get into all this marketing. I understand that you have to do it, but so this past year, our 20th year of business, so we're not an overnight success. We're pretty slow, as a matter of fact. We had some major things go on. We changed the packaging. We had some various events that helped the local people. We have 20 beers for 20 years. The staff didn't care initially. I said, "What are you asking?" Well, these ideas were all conceived and planned and executed by my daughter, who is now president of the company. She's sitting over there. So, so again, timing is wonderful. And I think this is a gig for younger people, really. And so it's working out for us. Now, just to sum up then, when you start some venture, you have to have patience and principles and persistence and have passion and go for it. And do your homework. Try to connect with all the people around you. Work with them. And then just hope the heck you got some basic timing on your side. That's all I got. Thank you, Nick.